Hey there, and welcome to our first of many Lord of War how-to videos. My name's Caleb, and I'll be walking you through the ins and outs of maintaining your new gas blowback blaster. The process of maintaining your blaster is mostly universal over all types of gas-operated blasters. Firstly, here's what you'll need to perform the service. 2 lint-free towels, preferably made of microfiber, some plastic and O-ring safe silicone oil, we use and recommend Abbey's 35 weight gun oil, some plastic and O-ring safe silicone grease, some Q-tips for those hard to reach places, and a clean workspace. Firstly, get familiar with the manual included with your blaster. Most manufacturers will include one, and we'll go over how to use your blaster along with any other information about general use and maintenance. The best thing you can do for your brand new GBB is field strip it and give it a relube. The factory lube is very thick and is primarily used for assembling and testing. Today we'll be working on the Radin Arms Wrap G17. Before we begin, make sure there isn't any gas left in the CO2 cartridge. If there is, load the magazine up with gels and fire it until no gas is remaining. Always remember to wear your eye protection and keep blasters concealed during transportation. Once it's empty, don't take the cartridge out just yet, as it'll stop dust and debris getting inside the magazine. Other things to be mindful about are to not vent the gas directly out of the magazine by holding the valve down on the back. This will freeze the O-rings and lead to premature wear of the seal. Also try your best not to dry fire the blaster, as this can lead to damaging the slide. Let's start off by removing the magazine and wiping down the exterior of the blaster for any dirt or debris with one of the microfiber towels. Be sure to designate one for exterior cleaning and one for interior cleaning, as to not get dirt or other contaminants inside the blaster. Once we're done, we'll go ahead and remove the top slide by racking it completely once to set the striker, pull downwards on both of the takedown levers, and pull the slide forward. It should come straight off. The blaster is now successfully broken down into its 3 major components: the magazine, the slide, and the lower receiver. We'll keep going, so compress and remove the recoil spring, and then remove the outer and inner barrel assembly. Start to wipe everything down with the other microfiber towel and remove all the old oil, paint, and any dirt that may have worked itself into the blaster. Use Q-tips if you can't get the cloth into tight areas. You can't be too thorough, just be careful not to leave any lint behind. Once you're satisfied, we'll use a little bit of the Abbey silicone gun oil on the striker and trigger assembly. Just a couple drops on the components and slowly work the trigger and striker to ensure the oil gets even coverage of the parts. Apply some of the Abbey oil directly to the O-ring in the blowback unit by pulling the nozzle forward to expose the O-ring. Just a drop or two, then work it in with your finger. While we're here, we'll apply some to the slides of the blowback unit. It's a little hard to see in the video, but on both sides of the nozzle there are 2 flat slides that lock into a set of rails. Just a drop of oil down both sides and work the nozzle back and forth to ensure coverage. Your nozzle should move freely once we're done. Afterwards, apply a thin film of O-ring and plastic safe silicone grease to all the contact surfaces of the slide, lower receiver, barrel assembly, recoil spring, and any other parts that may come in contact with moving pieces. Don't forget to get in all the little channels the slide runs along. A good rule to follow is less is more. You can put too much grease onto the blaster, and this will do a fantastic job of catching dirt, dust, and other particulates that will drastically accelerate the wear of components. If you do apply too much, just wipe some off and thin out the application. Once you're done, reassemble the slide by inserting the outer and inner barrel assembly through the front, followed by the recoil spring. Reinstallation of the slide is just the reverse of taking it off. Slide it onto the receiver and continue all the way as if you were racking it to set the striker. You'll feel a little resistance towards the end of travel. That's just the slide moving over these last 2 pins in the trigger assembly. Once you're done, pull the slide back a few times. It should be buttery smooth. If it's a bit tacky, remove the slide again, as you may have applied too much lubricant. Lastly, one other tip to help prolong the life of your CO2 magazines is place a drop of lubricant on top of the bulb before piercing it, and one through the top. This will help lubricate the O-ring inside the magazines, as CO2 is a dry gas and doesn't contain any oils. This should be done every time you insert a bulb into the magazine to ensure maximum longevity of the seals. Just to end it off, I recommend repeating this process once every 2 cartridges for the first 10 cartridges, as paint and metal shavings will come off the slides during the initial break-in period, and then once every 10 cartridges or full day of use. That sums it up for today. Well done on completing your first service of a gas blowback blaster. If you have any questions or tips, feel free to leave a comment below. Please like the video if you found it informative, subscribe, hit the bell notification button, and visit us on Facebook. This is Caleb from Lord of War, signing off.